I'm Tom Mann. I'm the Executive Director of the New Brunswick Union. We're affiliated with the National Union of Public and General Employees.
And what are your challenges, the challenges for your members and your union and the people of New Brunswick in 2011?
Well, we're really trying to engage with the general population in New Brunswick. We've got a tremendous deficit gap that is going to require a broad-based approach, and the Conservative government is interested in balancing the books within the next 4 years. And it seems to us that our members, as members of the community, they have friends, they're neighbors, they volunteer through the community, that there's a golden opportunity for us to engage the community in our issues and have the understanding that is important to appreciate why it is that the unions were formed in the first place. And when you think back to our history, we organized in the workplace. Now it's critical that we organize in the community.
What kind of outreach strategies can you use to engage in the kind of really, it's quite a detailed and not an easy conversation you're trying to have, isn't it?
No, but it's quite amazing that when you discover a shared value with someone else, and we're asking our members to ask their neighbors in their community, what is important to you?
So it's all around values.
It's a value-based approach, and it's amazing the commonality. And in New Brunswick, we have this incredible appetite for identifying the differences between people rather than identifying the similarities. And when you think of it in our province and across the country, that the majority of people work for somebody else. There's very few self-employed New Brunswickers and very few self-employed Canadians in terms of the larger population. So we have more in common with workers, whether unionized or non-unionized. And we've seen that through the NB Power proposed sale to Hydro-Quebec. Last year, following that, we were able to engage New Brunswickers on the notion of democracy. And the fact that we're looking to have a truer, more genuine democracy so that more people become engaged. And that's one exercise or one project that we've taken on, and it is really starting to gain traction not only with the community but with the current provincial government.
You're referring to the democracy issue itself?
Yeah, our Democracy for New Brunswick is a grassroots organization that we're seeking electoral reform as a long-term goal, and we were able to get a commitment from the then opposition party, the Progressive Conservatives, that once elected they would review and engage in a discussion on the commission document on legislative democracy in New Brunswick. And we see that as a huge advantage, for women, for workers in the province to be able to have representation in the Legislative Assembly.
And are you getting response from the provincial government? Are they responding to your calls for democratic participation?
They certainly are. We've been very encouraged. We just issued our 6-month progress report on democracy. Something as simple as asking each of the 42 MLAs to hold regular public meetings where their constituents can come with their issues. But as well, the MLAs can come and explain, what's important to them and why they're taking their decisions. And at the first 6 months, we had 25 of the 42 who have not only committed but have exercised these public meetings. And a year ago, they weren't happening at all. So we're gaining some ground there. We've also have the government committed, and they've now instituted cabinet meetings on a quarterly basis to be held outside of Fredericton in communities so that New Brunswickers can actually press the flesh. Because the cynicism that has occurred and developed in New Brunswick is not unlike that across the country, where Canadians are, really turned off politics. But when you think of it, that's where the big decisions get made. The decisions about labor laws, the decisions about poverty, the decisions about fair taxation. If we don't have a relationship with the community in educating them in terms of the role of the elected officials, then we're really beating our head against a brick wall.
Are there other dramatic issues like NB Power that are on the horizon for you?
Well, we anticipate that there's going to be more talk of privatization, privatization of liquor, and we see that as a potential. But one thing that this government will be reminded of is that decisions made behind closed doors and politics as usual are no longer acceptable in New Brunswick. And they understand that they didn't really get elected. The Liberals got unelected. And if we can hold their feet to the fire and keep them accountable to the citizens of the province, then we stand a really good chance of being able to cause some real constructive reform in our province.
That's great. Well, I wish you good luck with your work and congratulate you on your proactive attitude.
Well, thank you very much, Ish. My pleasure.